games, I think about which lane to gank,
Right.
based on CC and whatnot. Um, but so I had this question. I checked the stats of my Syndra, and she has like a 10% win rate and like a shit KD. So
Sure.
normally, if I didn't look at her stats or whatever, I would gank bot because she has a stun.
Oh,
It's
is
pretty
she the ball
easy.
line? Like actually?
Yeah, she's support.
Okay.
Yeah, Yorick mid. My whole team's kind of off meta.
Okay. Okay. I see.
And they don't have that much mobility down bot, so it'd be an easier gank. But I just saw that my Syndra was shit, so I padded toward top, even though there's nothing to get there. I know Jackson just E and leap out.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, should I ignore the stats and just focus on the champions?
Yes. So the cheesing your stats is the best when you look at their stats. So you'd never really want to like make a judgment off your own team stats. If you
Mhm.
see that this guy has 10% win rate and you want to abuse him, that's a better way to
Oh,
go about
okay,
things. But when it comes
gotcha.
to your teammates, you need to like trust the fact that this guy is like he's gonna do something. Even if he misses his QE, maybe he can slow them, maybe he can do something. But like it's just better in this game to probably pat the bot lane.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you
Okay,
can
I just didn't
identify
know
that
that.
yourself, yeah, you should just focus on making sure you're making good plays regardless of your teammate's stats or champion as well, because Syndra fucking support is not the greatest, obviously, but it's
Hmm.
still the best in this game. Like you identified, this guy is never dying. This guy is nothing really much is happening. If bot lane was scaling, there was nothing to do bot. I would still pat top, pat the prio as always, but this case, bot lane is fighting. It's stationally volatile, so you should want to pat the bot this game.
Yeah, so that's the first mistake. I already know I made that, but
Yeah, that's good.
thanks for
It's good
clearing
you
that up for
identified.
me.
But like you have a good thought process coming into the game. You know, you're trying to understand which lane you want to path to and which path to do towards this path. So if you're
Hmm.
pathing to top here, right? What I want to see is I want to see you either full clear or invade his top side, right? Because your Teemo in your head is going to have
Should
prio.
have
So in
Fire.
my head,
Yeah.
what the game looks like could be like this. Right? So every game you want to just come into the game and at 3 minutes you want to understand if this is actually what happened. So let's look at 3 minutes around that time. So top lane, this will not be pushing into this will come in like this is like kind of even right now, right? So
Hmm.
eventually, if Jax does not play like this, your Teemo will have prio, right? Because he's range.
Yeah.
Mid lane, LeBlanc is gonna have prio, and bot lane, it looks like bot lane's gonna have prio, right? So
How do you
pathing
know
top
that
here.
LeBlanc's gonna have prio in mid? Is it just because she's ranged?
So it's because she's ranged, and it's because I think about the abilities that my Yorick has, right? Like
Hmm.
what can this guy do to clear the wave in front of her?
I'm not too familiar with with York, to be
Sure. So
honest.
that's like another thing you should probably like think about. Like at
Mhm.
the elo you're at right now, like Emerald, you want to know almost every single ability in the game, passive included, alt included, everything.
Mhm.
And if you don't, there's lol wiki. If you've used it before, you just do lol wiki Yorick, and you really briefly can just the moment you see this locked into your team, you're just like, okay, shit, what does this champion do? What's going on? Okay, this guy has a 7 second Q. It's okay. It's an empowered auto attack. Like there's nothing. His W. Okay,
There's
W
like
is
a
that the
cage.
cage.
He's a
His E
slow.
is like it's a very low damage thing. It's long cooldown, so he probably is not gonna do anything in the lane. So pretty much all of his abilities are useless for clearing waves until he levels up. Because his
Mhm.
passive is the most important thing. Is he uses graves and he summons the ghouls. Eventually, when he gets ghouls that are strong, he'll be able to shove the wave in. But the early
Mhm.
game, LeBlanc will just have pride, right?
Okay.
But like you identified, yes, range champ, melee champ, it's likely your melee champ is not gonna have pride.
Mhm.
Cool. And even if you're wrong, let's say you're like, okay, I decide that my map is gonna look like this. What you do is you learn. You learn from it. It's okay
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
think it's like that. You need to make your judgment every single game, though. Cool.
Mhm.
So we're pathing top. Right? We don't know where Viego started necessarily, and we're gonna look at that real quick. So Jax is not showing in lane just yet. Right? Jax showed late. Nyla showed late. Right? The easiest way to look at things is if a laner shows late, right? You could assume that they leashed.
Right.
Jax, he showed kind of early, right? So I don't think he leashed.
Safer to assume.
I think he just sat here and waited, right? He did not leash. Right? Bot lane, you can't tell if they leash either, right? Because Nyla walked all the way around like this, so she played with fog. Eventually, you'll see Lux shows here, and you'll know that he did not start bot. But realistically, in higher elos and most elos, you don't need a leash to start. Um,
Yeah.
so if you're Viego, what you would come into this game the same way you figured out that you want to path bot, you would figure out where you want to path as this Viego. So where do you think Viego should path?
Botline.
Sure, and why?
Because Lux is hard CC. They our laners don't have that much mobility.
Yeah, so there's CC, there's mobility, and there's also wave priority, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we identified that maybe early game we wanted a path bot, but considering how your Sivir and Syndra are probably weaker than Nyla and Lux, especially if they leash you, or especially if they're not starting in lane, the enemy bot lane will have prio. If the enemy bot lane has prio and you path down like this, right? So both junglers pathing down, and these guys are like this, what's gonna happen is this guy can invade you, right? And you can just get jumped in your jungle.
Right, right.
So pretty much you want to make sure you're at least aware that if you path down and you match prio, right, or you're not matching prio, sorry, they have prio on you, then you
Mm.
want to make sure that you're, ideally not pathing to a lane that's losing prio. If you want to path to a lane like this, the only reason why I would do it is let's say this Syndra was a Nautilus, right? The 3v3 is now insane. You hook any of these three champions, Viego, Nyla, or Lux, and you're going to kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to identify if this 3v3 Graves, Sivir, Syndra is going to beat Viego, Nyla, Lux, especially when they have the wave priority. So you'll see this theme a lot from
Mm-hmm.
my coaching and from, what we're going to be talking about for the next hour. Waves are very important to be thinking about. That's realistically all I think about is waves when I'm making a play.
Okay, okay.
Cool.
That's good to
So
know.
from here, we're pathing top. We don't necessarily know 100% where Viego is, but we can assume that he's pathing down.
Quick
So,
question.
yeah.
You know that Nyla and Luxor are probably just based on your experience.
So
I thought Sivir had really good wave clear.
especially because they leashed you, she's not going to have prio. Whenever a laner
Gotcha.
leashes or doesn't show up at the lane, and I'll show you
Mm-hmm.
when the timer is crucial. This is something again we'll talk about later, but this timer is crucial. The moment these minions touch like this, these two
Mm-hmm.
minions, the first minions hit each other. If your laner is not here, 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 or wherever, and they are, like Lux is in this bush right now and Naya's in this bush right now,
They're
you're
probably gonna have
losing
prio.
prio. Yes. So
Gotcha.
you always want to see your laners first on the wave, hitting it, and they'll have prio. So especially
Mm-hmm.
because of this late, you're not having prio. Cool. So we don't know where he's starting. Seems your HP is good. Like we don't need to worry about kiting or whatnot. Seems like you got that down.
I have another question.
Go for it.
So if I didn't have them leash me, would my bot lane then have prio because they have better wave clear?
Um, it's
Kind of hard to say, right?
it's kind of hard to say, but yes, realistically, if Sivir starts using abilities on the wave and they want to play for prio, right? Because there's an option you can also choose to not play for prio. Some laners
Mm.
like don't play for prio. I don't know why.
Right,
Prio's
right.
OP, but they especially since they see you pathing top, they might decide that okay, my Graves is not going to show up bot, so I'm not going to play for prio. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, if they start it in lane, in theory they should have the prio.
Okay.
That's why I would want to path top or path top to bot. Cool. So we finish our clear. Pretty much you skill W second, or no, you don't skill W second, which is good. You're planning to full clear here. So right
Yeah.
now, after you clear the third camp, what I'm looking at is it's bugged right now. I think. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. What I'm thinking about whenever I'm clearing my third camp is this third
Mm-hmm.
wave right here. So
Mm-hmm.
every third wave is a cannon wave, right? And this is early
Mm-hmm.
game concept. This cannon wave right here is going to go to every single lane. So the lanes I'm pathing to, which I can always help mid, but I'm pathing to top. I want to see what's going to happen on this top wave when, when this cannon wave again hits the center of the lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this cannon wave, let's say the Jax does not, die, and the Jax is like, they trade, they're probably at like this HP now, maybe even less. Teemo's at like this. What
Mm-hmm.
Jax needs to do on this next wave is clear this, right?
Yeah.
So what I
He's
would
gonna be there
do
for a while.
he needs to be there for like 20, 30 seconds to clear this wave. It's going to take him a while. He's
Right.
playing Jax as well. So what I would do is I would skip all of these camps and go top and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next question is, okay, if Viego is here, right, can we win the 2v2? Or if Viego is here and, we fight 1v1 here and Teemo fights 1v1 here, is it even good? That's the
Mm-hmm.
next step of thinking about if your good gank is good or bad. But the first step is identifying the Jax needs to play for this wave if he's alive, and that's the time I'm clearing my third camp. You also got leash, so you're really fast here. The time I'm clearing my third camp, I'm watching this wave right here. I'm watching this wave right here, and even this bot wave right here. Let's say there was a huge fight going on in the middle of the lane. These guys would probably need to crash this wave very soon too. You could pivot all the way down and go bot through river, right? You could E over this wall as well. So every single time in the early game, you path in the right way or not. You want to be watching your third wave, the first cannon wave that spawns, and make your decision from there.
I see. Okay. I never thought about that before.
Yeah. So pretty much you'll see this entire time I'm trying to match all my timers to waves. But otherwise, your decision making here is fine. Jax died. Teemo's wave is really goaded right now, and you just play your full clear out. So here, the only reason why you don't want to connect wolves to blue buff, right, or wolves to Gromp, sorry, is if you feel like you're gonna get invaded on your blue buff. The reason why you want to do wolves and then Gromp and then blue is because your wolves and Gromp will spawn at the same time. Let's say nothing happens this game, you're not able to gank any lane, like Teemo solo kills him again, bot lane dies again. You're going to full clear all the way up again, and what's going to happen is once you finish your wolves right here, you're going to be sitting on this Gromp for an extra 10 seconds because it takes you
Right.
extra 10 seconds to clear this blue buff.
Mhm.
So the only reason
If
why,
I'm not getting invaded, I should go from wolves to Gromp.
yes, especially if
Okay.
you have
I'm
such a
not getting
fast
invaded.
clear, especially
Okay.
if it's such a fast clear, unless you need mana, right? But
Mhm.
Graves, you're gonna get enough mana. You're not gonna use too much abilities,
Yeah.
so you go to your blue. Someone like Karthus, someone like Lillian needs to do blue buff first. But
Mhm.
let's say there's a full clear. You always want to do your wolves and your gromp so you can synchronize them. So for your next sequence, you're not sitting for 10 seconds waiting.
Right. That makes sense. Question here.
Yeah,
At this point in time, Teemo pings me to gank him.
yeah.
Should I have skip my Gromp to go gank?
So tell me why I'm instantly looking at this right here,
I'm thinking not
and why is that?
because of the wave.
Okay, so there is a wave, right? And then so there's he has a big wave, right? He has a
Mhm.
lot of HP, and
He's
there's
full
one
HP.
more thing.
Yeah.
There's one more thing.
So I'm thinking not.
Not yes, but the main reason I'm thinking of is look at this wave right here. Look at how far up it is right now. Right, he's gonna kill all of your minions
Mhm.
before you can like do anything to him. Realistically, the furthest he has to go is right here. Right, he doesn't have to go any further than right here. Right,
Mhm.
that at that point he can just Q away and use his E, and you're never killing him because he's full HP.
Mhm.
Right, so right after your blue buff, what I'm identifying is if this Jax needs to like if you needed to clear the wave all the way up here, right, that's a lot easier to kill, especially if he's lower. But like you identified, he has a huge wave, he has full HP. Those are good things to understand. The next important step is what does Jax need to do to get out of this lane, or what's Jax's goal? And it's to clear these minions and then either like dive the Teemo, leave, do whatever. But realistically, the only goal he needs to accomplish here is kill
Right
this
now,
wave
just kill
and
them
get the
in.
fuck out.
Yeah.
Yes. So once he kills these minions, he's not gonna do anything anymore. He doesn't have to do any of this anymore. Right? He's
Mhm.
leaving. Bye bye. Right? Let's say Teemo froze this next wave right here, right? It's very hard because this wave is huge, and like a Jax is
Yeah.
making sure the wave crashes. But let's say it was healthier, and now Jax needs to crash this wave. That's the wave I'm planning to gank on. So what I would
Mhm.
do is because we're thinking about Fog of War, and because it's very likely that this is warded or this is warded, I would not E into this bush, right? I would go all the way around, sit here, right? Because this is very hard to catch that, and it's very
Mhm.
likely that this is warded. I would sit here and wait for Jax to interact with this wave right here.
Mhm.
So again, it's all about waves and all about timing.
Mhm.
Okay.
I waste a lot of time here.
Right. So here again, there's nothing to do here, right? Because there's no
Mhm.
wave for that Jax needs to stay on. Your team is just collecting the wave, and this sweeper right here, clearing the sword, does nothing for you, because you want to
Yeah.
return to one of my most important fundamentals, your first camp respawn. You always want to return to this camp the moment it spawns.
Yeah, I'm
When does this
familiar
camp
with
spawn?
that. 415, 410, something like that.
Yeah, 415, 410, 420. You don't have to be accurate, but yes, you need to be back here at that time. So
Yeah, I'm familiar with that concept.
yeah, now you clear crab, you won't make it in time, right?
Yeah.
You're wasting more
I
time
just waste
here.
time.
Really, really, really sad. And now you're probably upset at Teemo. Teemo's confused what the fuck just went wrong. And now you're late to this. And the game is just very sad from here. So this is early game, first sequence. There was just only full clearing going on, but a lot happened.
Mhm.
Cool. So we're running back to our next camp, right? Teemo got solo killed. Unfortunate. What I would have done if I really wanted to help Teemo is the moment his wave looks like this, I would shove it out with him. Right? Because Teemo, again, he needs to clear this wave and even potentially the next wave if it takes too long. So if I'm committed to staying here,
Help
I
him
would
push it
just
out.
clear this wave with Teemo so he can recall. Because Teemo needs to clear this wave and recall.
Mhm.
So the moment I do this, oh, you already did earlier, I guess. The moment I like push him out like this, I'm thinking about this next wave and I'm going to clear it. So you clear here, and again, what are we playing for here? We just showed on a ward. I'm not sure if you. Oh, that's your ward. I think that's their ward. Well, The reason why this bush sucks is because it's very easy for either side to ward, like right here, right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk in like this, you reveal yourself, and again, you're late to your next camp respawn right here. What
Mm-hmm.
does bot lane need to do here? Nothing, right? They already killed all these minions. So they're just gonna walk away. They clear everything, and now you've wasted even more time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speed up a little bit because it's gonna be really repetitive from what we're looking at. So here, let's say you were doing your wolves, and you did it right away. Your gromp is still not respawn, still not respawn. Really unfortunate. Okay, now you did your gromp, and that's fine. So pretty much, we've effectively done nothing in the entire 5 minutes. Their jungler's been able to get one gank off bot, so the jungler hasn't done much either. But what we've done that makes this game hard for us is we've ruined our tempo, so we weren't here on spawn.
Mm-hmm.
We've showed twice, once here, twice here actually. We showed 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest mistake I'm seeing in the early game. Nothing terrible, but these basic mistakes you're making make the game harder for you and for everyone. The biggest thing for yourself to understand is fog, and make sure you're on this camp at the right time. How do you not get baited by this teamless pings? You need to understand what the fuck is he talking about. He's talking about the wave, right? And if you identify that you're not gonna make it to that wave, he's too full HP, there's nothing to do, then you commit to what's best for you. You're the jungler. You're the only person who makes the decisions, right? Because it's your hands, it's your brain, it's your decisions. All that's happening is this other player, this other human, is pinging you to do something. You decide if you want to do it or not. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
be a sheep, especially when you're playing jungle. You cannot, especially when you're playing Graves. If you're playing like Poppy maybe, whatever, like some other champ that wants to give camps doesn't care as much. Sure, go fuck around and listen to every single ping. You're playing Graves. You cannot play like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next sequence. So we're gonna clear this ground. This is good. We're gonna clear the scraps. It wasn't cleared earlier. Okay, so we want to collect information. Skip the scraps. So pretty much what I'm looking at is again, right? So the reason why I see you do this in my head is okay. So we have this wave coming crashing here. This guy's diveable. We have mid. It's very diveable too. So I like your decision of skipping this crab and playing for information. Right, so there's two things you could do here. You can get information by diving this Jax, right? Because if this guy dies and Viego's not here, he's obviously somewhere else, right? If you dive
Mm-hmm.
this Jax and Viego shows up, now Yorick can play happier. He can recall for free. He doesn't need to feel scared. He could dive him himself. If you'd
Mm-hmm.
want to dive mid and Viego doesn't show, it's the same concept, right? But walking into his jungle also accomplishes the same purpose. It's just slower. Again, you want to be on this wave right here, on this wave right here if you're trying to dive or interact with your laners. You're going to be too far away from this top wave. Like, a lot of this top wave is already dead. You want it to be here much earlier if you're playing
Mm-hmm.
for, this dive, this kill. It looks like you're playing for, camps here. What I'm looking at is these
Mm-hmm.
lanes first, and then camps. Because let's say this
Gotcha.
this Krugs was up, right? Are you actually gonna do these Krugs while this guy's like playing like this? Like
No, I'd probably look to dive.
you should look to dive or look to hover him at least. You should look to like, let's say this guy doesn't want to kill him and he wants to like leave. The Jax can jump him. You want to make sure your teammates are secured as well before you can worry about this, because you're winning more by helping your team, like than it
Mm-hmm.
is for one camp, right? When there's a guaranteed thing you can help with, you always want to prioritize that. So you should end up getting this kill. Hopefully, you have the flash, that's fine. Needless wave, this is fine. Right, and at this point, their Viego has cleared um, the dragon, right? Their bot lane is doing really well. The gold is not too bad, right? But in this game, pretty much the next thing I'm thinking about is I hold tab, right? After I get this plate. Even this plate I wouldn't think about, I wouldn't actually do, because look at our camps again, they're respawning right now. So I wouldn't even
But
want
yeah,
to do,
you'd forego play to
oh,
get to camps.
sorry, what happened?
You would forego a play to get to
Oh, yeah,
camps,
yeah,
like
I would
on
for
spawn.
sure, for sure.
Okay.
To play tempo on the map, because this plate isn't going anywhere for the next, you know, 8 minutes, 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's gonna get this plate eventually. You're either gonna re-dive this guy with Herald and get 5 plates. Like, if this got you your full mythic, get it. It's worth it. It's worth the tempo. But right now, you're not gonna, like, this 160 gold is not gonna change your game
Mm-hmm.
by too much. Even if you get an extra longsword, that's not a big enough spike to say it's worth it. You always want to play for tempo, and your camp's down here. Your camp respawn.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Viego gank mid, and now you're here on the map. Same items. Jax can stop you. You're stuck on the map here. Your tempo is gonna be even worse because now you have to recall still and still walked all the way to bot, and you've pretty much only gotten one plate, right? You still got that
Mm,
kill, right? But if you got that kill instant recalled after that wave, you pocket 1.2k, a lot
mm,
of EXP, and then you can full clear back to topside and replay into the topside.
mm.
But now you've delayed your entire game by so much, and you also make it really risky for the fact that you could have died here, potentially,
Right,
right?
right, right.
It's just risky. Okay? And then you're staying even longer, which is even worse. So you want to just get the fuck out of here. You need to
Mm,
identify if this fight is actually going to be good, right? The reason why you're staying. If you think something will happen here, don't show. Why show? If you think that Jackson's gonna keep going, why reveal yourself? The moment you show up, he's gonna click back, right? But what I would do is I would channel recall here and wait.
mm.
So a lot of these very small time crucial things you're doing, that's revealing yourself on vision. That's um, not thinking about waves and really like it seems like your decision making is very I don't have the word. It's kind of like just too indecisive. It feels like you're not sure
Exactly.
if you want to be helping your team or not. You need to understand instantly if it's a good or bad play, and you just make a decision. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong because you will learn from it if you make a choice. But if you're getting mind controlled by your teammates, oh, the Jax, or by the enemies for that matter, this Jax jumped in, so I understand, okay, the Jax jumped in, so I'm like, oh shit, maybe it's gonna be a fight. Oh, the moment you see this, you instantly click, you instantly click backwards. You can see an input right here. The moment you see that, you get mind controlled. You need to be okay with whatever's happening and not let that change what's going on in your mind. Because what's going on in your mind is you're aware that, hey, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to either do this crab, I need to either recall and go bot, I need to spend my gold. You're aware of all these things. The moment you see Jax jump on this guy, everything turns off. And you're just like, oh, some fight, I'm walking to it. Oh shit. Right,
Yeah.
but you clearly, it tells me that you are aware that you want to recall. It's just in the moment, is this fight even good or bad? And you don't make up your mind, and then you see something on your screen, and you're like, oh shit, right? Pretty much what I'm thinking about this whole time, if I go for this Krugs and it ends up being bad, is I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to recall. I need to recall. I need to recall. That's it. So whatever this
Mm,
Jax is doing does not matter to me. So we're back in base now, and we have some good items. Sure, we're much stronger now on the map. Bot lane again, lower HP this time, and wave right here. Right, this is the wave
mm.
I'm looking at. These guys, either side, will need to kill either of these waves. So let's say this Nyla and Lux are, they want to fight for the spot wave here. They're gonna have to step up to do that. Let's say Syndra
Right.
and Sivir want to step up for this wave right here. They're gonna have to step up and do that. Like either way, something is gonna happen here potentially. Because they're playing ranged champions, less likely. But especially if they're playing a melee champ, this is the wave I'd want to be on, especially since you hit level 6 already.
Okay, so do Krugs if they, but in this instance they're both ranged. So should I just keep like
Yep.
clearing?
Because what's gonna happen is the next wave, the red side is going to have to crash, right? Because what's gonna happen with this wave, it's gonna slow push into us,
Right,
right?
right.
And if your laners play this wave correctly, they need to crash the next wave. And alternatively, if you think this Herald is more valuable than this one play bot lane,
Mm-hmm.
your bot lane is already winning this play here. So what I would do is I would utilize my pings and I would just danger ping these guys multiple times, and I would
Mm-hmm.
use my hold ping to go for this Herald. So
Mm-hmm.
right out of a bunch of, right out of the rope ping, the all these other pings, the ping that's utilized the least is the hold ping, and that's the ping that I use the most, and actually gets people's attention almost every single time. It's very
Because people
rarely
never see it.
people never see it. The only time people see it is when like it's defending a turret or something. So people
Right.
react to the hold ping very like well. Versus like an assistance ping is just like it's been in the game too long. People don't like it. People like
Yeah.
ignore it. So I stopped using the assistance ping. I either use the hold ping or the like I spam on the way. I'm either on the wing or I'm hold ping. The sound is
Mm-hmm.
nicer. I don't know what it is, but people will listen to it. Alternatively, so what I would do here is I would danger and then hold ping this. Because personally, I
Mm-hmm.
think that my Sivir and my Syndra, they've already won their lane here. Syndra does not need to be playing like this. If I danger pinged her, she would probably stand back here. And their wave is already really good. Let's say Viego comes bot lane to like fix the wave. Now I get free Herald.
Mm-hmm.
So using pings here is the most important thing. But for you at this level right now, for where you are, you need to decide why or whether or not it is good to go bot, full clear all your camps, or do Herald. You need to make a decision because there's a lot on the map here. And I'll tell you what I would do is again, I'm not trying to play on this wave. I can, it's an option. I'm trying to play for this Herald. The reason being, My Sinja 03, he's kind of an inting dog right now. I entire topside is up, so if I make a bot play, not only am I losing Herald, I'm probably losing my topside, right?
Right.
So I'm playing to the wrong lane, and I'm losing my entire topside, and the one person that's doing like okay is not being played towards. That's why I would not go bot here.
I make that mistake.
Okay, there you go. Now you could get kills here, and the reason, so you swept through everything, and you're gonna see it so clearly here. Now let me talk about the whole time. They have no vision here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
look at what these guys need to do. The red side. What do they want to do right now?
Push that wave in.
Yes. So what if you waited the whole time? Lux is going to probably use abilities. Right? She doesn't have it right now, so you could go right now. But this guy is going to walk all the way up here and try and kill this cannon minion. While
Mm-hmm.
she's doing that, you show up, they're fucked. Look at the timing
Right.
you went in. They're still pretty far back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're going for these minions especially, they're going to walk up. This guy's about to use his abilities.
Yeah,
He's
that
getting
makes
ready
sense.
for it. That's how you play around waves. That's how you gank properly and play through vision properly.
So just be more patient.
Be more patient, right? Because they're not going anywhere. They need to clear this whole wave. It should end up in both kills either way.
I waffle.
Oh shit, don't worry about it too much. It's okay, it's okay. But realistically, you wouldn't have to stress about it too much if, you know, you waited for the wave. But
Mm-hmm.
you came bot, you can get either kills, you got some EXP, but the game is really depressed. Again, this guy got top crab, Herald, and he could invade your top side, or you could play tempo into the bot side. And what I mean by this is, let's say he went, you know, you still have to recall and return to your top side, or you have to walk all the way to top side.
Yep.
His bot side is winning hard.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to play into bot side. If you're stuck top side, how can you defend your bot side if they're gonna dive? If they're gonna dive you guys, how can you defend their bot side if there's gonna be a huge fight again? Because your Syndra's been fighting the whole game. You won't be there to impact the bot lane. So everything that's happening right now is really, really, really depressing because you know top side is in danger, right? If he doesn't do my top side, like he's up going to be up tempo no matter what. Like their Viego is going to be really, really happy this game. So let's
Okay,
back
so
up.
say I do the other route and I'm
Uh huh.
like taking chickens instead
Yeah.
of rotating bot,
Yeah.
and then I see them fight, and then I see two of them low. Should I rotate from chickens to go down bot to go kill them, or just go to Herald?
So it really depends again. If you value this wave, right? If you value freezing and denying this wave, also the heralds already spawn, so it's very likely because Teemo has no prio, Teemo's low, that this herald is actually not good for you to take. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are my first thoughts in my head that I want this herald. Right? You know, establish what you want. But in this
Mm-hmm.
game, it's not realistic to get this herald. Look at top wave,
Right.
look at mid wave, right?
I don't have prio.
You don't have priors anywhere, and it's already 8 minutes. It's very likely that this guy, instead of doing this crab, if I'm Viego, I'm doing this herald already on spawn. My Jax is moving again. He crashed the wave. That's the timer I'm playing with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
realistically, this herald is not your play. What is your play is this next wave here, even this wave here. But what I'm doing is I'm still danger pinging these guys, even though he's died 3 times. If he has any like sort of like responsiveness, he will use danger. Like he will like understand what a danger means, like a
Yep.
little bit, you know. Like I I understand the excuse of like yeah they did like I pinged assistance, I tried to danger ping and they still die, whatever. Just do it more, and you'll find it that it's actually so useful. Myself, I've gone on coach before, and I always ignored the advice of like use pings more, use pings more. When I
Mm-hmm.
started using pings more, it just feels like I can control the game like way more. And the one or two people that I can't control, it's fine. The rest of my team will listen to me. So
Mm-hmm.
use your pings here and understand that yes, it is good to go bot line here, especially if after you do your Raptors, you can make it to the bot wave. Then you clear all your camps, you make it to the bot wave, you kill these guys, and then you either insta recall to defend your top side or you invade his bot side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, what I'm thinking about is after what happens with whatever play happens, what's my next step, right? So that's after the decision making. What's my next step?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, you gank bot. That's when you get one or two of these kills. You ask yourself, what's my next step? And I'm already thinking my next step is either I'm going to invade him here, or I'm going to recall and defend my camps here. Again,
Mm-hmm.
we identify Teemo has bad conditions. He hasn't recalled. If I were to walk up here and defend my camps, you would lose. This guy's
Right,
gonna be
because I
low
don't have
HP.
prio.
This guy has prior right with the wave, but he has no conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he has no resources right now. He has no HP, no mana. Jax is gonna freeze this wave, which means Jax is gonna be stuck here. But it's going to be 1v1 against Viego, and it's like your Teemo can't come. And if Jax wants to clear this wave and move, you're screwed here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your mid lane, on the other hand, has conditions. right? He has good resources, has pry on everything. So then I could think about defending my top side. But that's what
Hmm.
I'm thinking about ahead of time. When all these things combined, right? I'm first making my decision, and right after this happens, I'm thinking about defending my top side or invade his bot side. I'm thinking about camps as a play to make, as the thing to defend, because camps are always guaranteed resources no matter what happens, right? No matter what happens, that's like a kill, like what happened here. Lux lived. You didn't get any of the gold or EXP, but a camp, it'll never fail you, man. It'll always give you the
Hmm.
gold and EXP. And 3 camps is worth 1 kill's worth of gold, but on top of that, it gives you way more EXP than a kill does by a lot, right?
At
Because
this stage of the game, right?
even in the
Even late game, mid
earlier
game.
games, mid game, and late game, um, camps just give you so much unless there's a guaranteed free kill. So in this case, the bot kills were guaranteed if you waited, but just generally speaking, just understand that your camps are 100% guaranteed resources. So if you can't find 100% guaranteed kills, it's probably better to do the camps and not just like randomly show up
Gotcha.
to lanes. Just a general rule.
Hmm.
Executed.
Cool. So we've missed out on a lot of opportunities this game. We missed out on a lot of kills. We messed up a lot of tempo. We missed out a lot of showing. But the game is still okay, right? It's not the end of the world. The
Hmm.
biggest problem with this game is it's 9 minutes in and we haven't generated a gold lead for ourselves. In fact, we're down gold, right?
Hmm.
And look at our champions. I have fucking Yorick mid, I have fucking Timo top, and I have these guys. It's very, very hard to win this game. So we're going to look at mid-game mistakes, but I'm telling you from here in this position, you're down a Dragon, you're down Herald, you're down a lot. It's going to be hard to win.
Right.
So to fix everything early game, right? Again, it's the basic mistakes of showing top for no reason. It's the basic mistake of not returning to your camp when it spawns. Basic mistake of not looking at your waves. But lastly, the most important thing I want to be thinking about is objectives. Objectives will carry you throughout every single elo, no matter where you are, up until nowhere, up until everywhere. Like it works in Challenger, it works everywhere, it works
Hmm.
in Iron. Just play for the objectives. Have every single decision come in mind, like to do with objectives. So let's say you kill this Jax 2 or 3 times, you actually succeed killing top. That means I'm not interacting with this dragon because the person who's fed is Timo, right? Or
Hmm.
me. So I'm going to prioritize the lane that's weak, and I'm going to interact, and I'm going to get the objective up here. That's why I feel really sad when I see you lose Herald and Dragon. You should at least get one of these.
Hmm.
But that's how you're going to carry games early game. You need to prioritize objectives. Okay. So here we're in a position where we don't know if he's in our camps. We haven't asked our team to check. So I would be spam pinging this guy to check. And
Hmm.
lastly, what I could do is what I would do is after I go bot, I would go like
Walk up.
this, and I would hit this plant. Hopefully there's a Scryers right here. If not, I just want to get one camp and leave. If I can get one camp and leave, at least it's not the end of the world, right?
Hmm.
But pretty much, if you get these rapids right here, you're just gonna be down so many resources from this Viego. He just cleared your blue on Gromp. He's gonna recall, and he's gonna clear this whole bot side.
Yeah.
The only positive of what just happened is you could kill top while he's recalled, but he ganks top, right? Because you're stuck in the bot side. So danger ping this guy is 1, 2. The moment I see Viego like this, I'm bolting it to his bot side, right? Or I'm recalling for Mythic, but you don't have Mythic. So it seems you made an identification that your bot wave is messed up, too late. Here again, same thing, it's all about patience. This guy,
Wants to play.
he wants to play and he wants this wave.
Hmm.
Give it some time. You kill this guy. And especially because Viego's gonna recall soon. You would have killed this guy. You show up way too early. So the next sequence, let's look at more of the mid game. You've also upset your Teemo here by taking his wave. That's pretty sad. You're going for another plate. So our entire camp sequence is messed up. How I would win this game again is there's not much you could have actually done. Is what I'm trying to What I'm trying to say this game is you've made a lot of mistakes. These mistakes, it doesn't mean that there was actually things for you to do. It's actually completely fine to do nothing and just not show top, do the crab recall, and return to your camp and just keep not showing, keep like playing the game stable, full clearing, recalling is
Hmm.
actually better than showing randomly, than doing random things and like trying to fight random fights. It's actually
Hmm.
better to just keep full clearing, relax, and wait for opportunity. You just need to relax and wait. This
Hmm.
entire game in 10 minutes, you could have had 100 CS, you could have had a lot more kills, right? Because you found some opportunity, but you went too early, right? But
Hmm.
pretty much, you're not making the most terrible mistakes. It's just the mistakes you're making are important enough that it messes up your timing throughout the entire game. Your timing throughout this entire game has been really, really messed up for jungle POV.
Right.
And pretty much how I would look at it is just relax a little more. There's Recently there's a lot of games where you can go the first 10 minutes 0-0-0 and be up 1 to 2,000 gold on the enemy jungler in terms of stats, in terms of like a dragon or a herald. You could be up a lot of camps too. Like even if you're completely even or he's up kills, there's still like there was nothing you could do this game realistically in my eyes. Like there was very little you could have done. You found the good opportunity, you didn't capitalize on it, but even the opportunity you found is like very like lucky, I would say. This game
Yeah.
realistically it's just hard to play. Um, but pretty much make sure you understand that it's okay to just relax, farm your camps full clear, and you know chill pretty much.
Mm.
So here we're doing a little brawl.
I think I was playing for Scuttle, but that.
Yeah. You're playing for crap here, but the thing is, we saw Viego up here, very slightly right here.
Me?
So he showed
Oh
us for a
yeah.
sec, and then he goes into smog. So I'm giving this the moment. You know, the block is contesting me. My York's not here. My Teemo probably doesn't want to come. By the way he's looking, walking. Sorry. If I got hit
Hmm.
by this chain, you could have actually died here, or blown a
Hmm.
flash. He'll use his E chain. He'll use his R chain. He could probably like chunk you to half or more by himself. What I'm focused on is can I fight this dragon? Sorry again. Can I trade into his bot side? Or can I just like get my mythic because you have gold and just restart my clear and look for the next opportunity? That's all I'm
Hmm.
thinking about right now.
So as soon as I see LeBlanc here, I just back off.
Yeah,
Recall.
realistically, just back off. What you could have done even earlier is you have mythic right here for this. Just leave back here and go recall right here.
Hmm.
And then replay the map. And maybe if Viego does what he did and plays for the stop grab, you could have actually gotten this dragon.
Hmm.
It's not on 40, so no. But Imagine Dragon was spawning up earlier, and Viego's doing top grab, and he has 3k gold. He still needs to recall. He's gonna recall, and then he's gonna be late to dragon, and you could probably one shot the dragon with your full mythic.
Hmm.
So prioritize your items over anything, over almost every single resource in the game. Prioritize your item. So your item and your tempo mean more than this one crap here.
Right.
Here, if some guy walks up right here, he spots you, or like barely. So just move it up a little more. Again,
Hmm.
fog is super important. You almost have it. We're gonna choose the bot. We have mythic now. We're really happy. Bot's now putting in work. So again, the wave is what we're thinking about. There's the wave, so they're out. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
That was just a
What
display.
what
Bad
you could,
decision.
yeah, it's just like it's a time waster and a bad decision. Because if you just did your Krugs here and did your Raptors here, maybe Raptors not up yet, but you did your Krugs at least, and then yeah, Raptors will be up. Um, you could like think about maybe pulling Dragon. Maybe
Yep.
after your ball lane kills them and the Lux is 1 HP, you can bring Sivir after this wave and go to Dragon. Regardless,
Hmm.
what's happening is you're actually losing out on opportunity by making plays like this. The
Yeah.
opportunity for the next 1 minute now is gone because you have to clear both of these camps. So you would have more opportunity if you just did the basic rule of clear your camps. Clear
Hmm.
at least 2 of your camps before you make plays. It's the simplest rule I have for you. Clear your weak side camps. Okay. What I mean by weak side is the camps you started on, the side you started on. You started blue
Yeah. Yeah.
buff, so your weak side is Krugs and Raptors. See, again, like, imagine a world you clear both of these camps, then this Viego ganks like this. The Viego's not playing for anything here, right? The wave is gone. I mean, Yorick's playing for a plate, so that's good for Viego to think about, kind of. But Yorick can just leave here. If you had cleared your camps, this guy's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
would have been
get his
able to kill
flash,
Viego. Yeah.
you get his ult, you get something, and then you can pull Dragon afterwards. That's what I mean by it's not that these other players are so much better. My understanding is like it's not like the Masters player is that much better than an Emerald player or a Plat player or a Diamond player. It's just that they don't make mistakes like showing ball in like this And even if they do, it's very, very like few mistakes, very, very few times that happens. They
Hmm.
get it down to where they make it happen less, and by that they find better opportunities. They find better plays. Like this, for example, would have been a lot of conditions from Viego, potentially a kill because you have flash and ult up and everything.
Hmm.
Might still
Domino
end up being
effect.
something. His flash still, yeah, still his flash. And his ult actually, so that's still
Blue
really good.
team's turret
And
has
again,
been
thinking
destroyed.
of this dragon now.
Hmm.
Right? Got this dragon, I can get back into this game, potentially. And because I have no vision and my laners are like far, I'm actually going to play this really safe. If I don't have a jump, I'll go like this and I'll pull it out and I'll pull it from here. This position, like right over here.
Hmm.
If I'm Graves, I can just walk through and just hit it from here. But I want to be
Yeah.
safe with it still because these guys can still come. But pretty much
Oh.
objective over everything.
In that instance, right after we got Viego's flash, instead of taking Raptors, I should have looked to do
Yes.
Greg.
Yes. And it's because, again, you're prioritizing your objectives in the first place. But because Viego has no condition, no HP, no resources, no ult, no flash, the fight itself, if they want to take it, it's it's putting yourself in a decent position to take the fight. I'm not saying the fight will be guaranteed to win, right?
Hmm.
You're not up gold. Their Viego's pretty strong anyway. Their comp is pretty good, but it puts you in a position to where you can carry the fights to where your teammates have a better opportunity to win the fight. Shit. So this again, it's kind of just like it's not something that's terrible per se. It's just like a mistake that many people, high heroes, would not have made. What I mean by this is after you kill this guy, this is beautiful. Understand that the next play for you to make is on this wave here, not right away. What you want to do is if I'm here, I have a danger sense going. I'm terrified of Viego and LeBlanc being here at the same time. I'm terrified of LeBlanc Wing over and chunking me. I'm gonna stand here, clear this ward, and then, walk safe way. There's no one with you. If two people are here, you're just dead. How do you
Hmm.
know that Viego isn't here? It's actually impossible to tell. What
Hmm.
Viego could have done is, since he got so low here, he could have just gone to his red buff, healed to full, because jungle's kind of OP, red buff's kind of OP, and then come down, and even if he's half HP, he'll one-shot you if you walk like this.
Yeah.
Additionally, the most important thing here is that we've been talking about the whole time, fog. Include this ward. I don't know why you're walking over this ward like this. Right, and also, your danger sense is kind of ticking off here. You're walking like this way. Danger, 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 danger. This push is so dangerous. Even this push
Hmm.
is dangerous, potentially. Right, so I'm walking really safely until my Yorick can move with me. What does Yorick need to do right now?
This wave.
Yeah, after he just does the wave, he can come help you with anything. Right, so I'm waiting. And if I want to make it even better, I can get resources and EXP for myself. I'll clear this wave with him. I'll get a plate with him. I'll have him
Hmm.
move down for the dragon with me. But the thing you need to understand to make these good decisions, to make these like proper, I understand what I'm doing, I understand what I'm going for, is you need to know what you want to play for in the first place ahead of time.
Hmm.
And the easiest way to do that, the variable that never changes in any game, is there will always be objectives as a win con. There will always be a dragon spawning within the next 5 minutes. There will always be a herald spawning at 8 minutes. There will always be turrets to break. These variables never ever change, so you can always play around them. You can always play to play for these things, and that helps you give direction in the game when you feel like, yeah, I don't know what decision to make. Have every decision you make line up with I want to play for this dragon right here.
Hmm.
Cool. So we're gonna look at a little bit more of the mid game, but again, the mid game is pretty fucked. You're down a lot of gold. We can see how to come back, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be a miracle.
Red team double kill.
Okay, Bonnie's putting in work.
Turret plate will fall soon.
The dragon. We're here for nothing. We also didn't ping the ward earlier. You walked over that ward without pinging it, so that's like really bad.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess you just didn't see it. That's fine. But here again, like no wave, no gank. No wave, no gank. You're pinging on the way. There's nothing to do here. But what I would play for is try and set up this herald. Try and set up this turret. Try to set up this turret. Whatever turret I
Red
want,
team
whatever
has
herald, whatever
slain the
objective I want.
dragon.
Right?
Hmm.
At this point in the game, in mid game, what I'm thinking about is who can I play towards. It's actually really weird because no one on your team is doing too great, but your York is actually going to be like he's kind of like a monster. He does so much damage, right?
Hmm.
So the only person I want to play for is my Yorick, but he's mid lane. with no CC, like 0 CC, especially against LeBlanc. So there's actually like nothing you can do. So again, just relax and clear your camps.
Yeah, just chill.
Just
Take it.
chill. And if there's no opportunity in the whole game, then there wouldn't have been anyway. It's not like you can just force opportunity in the game, especially playing champs like Graves and Kindred and whatnot. You can't force opportunity. If you're playing, I mean, it's very hard on most champs in the first place, but like maybe like Poppy, like maybe a champ with CC like Jarvan, if there's a flashless target. Like the point is not to force opportunity, not to force plays, but just play the game, and they will int eventually. Their
Mhm.
their Nyla and Lux were roping your bot lane really hard. They were destroying them. All of a sudden, they're losing. I'm
Mhm.
sure this Viego will die once or twice. I'm maybe even more. I'm sure this Jax will die once or twice, maybe even more. The point is, they will make mistakes, so make sure you're just relaxed. You're playing for yourself, and eventually you'll find opportunity. You'll
Mhm.
kill that Viego the same way he came in like that, and he like lost his flash and ult. You could have killed him there if you just relaxed, cleared your camps, and played Viego.
Right.
Get out of here. Shit. Yeah, so so the smoke screen is like okay, but my danger sense is ticking even more here. Like dying here means for the next like minute I can't trade anything. What I mean by trade is if they're doing this Herald, I want to pressure the spot turret. If they're trying to break the spot turret, I want to like break the stop turret to get Rift Herald. But because they're
Mhm.
in this position right here, what I'm doing is insta-ing this wall, right? It's a little slow, and I'm just ulting away. I just need to live here, because if
Mhm.
I can go into his bot side while Viego's doing the top grab or top Herald,
Mhm.
I could possibly kill their bot lane, potentially. Or I can just like get some resources over here.
Yeah.
But my ult's not gonna you're not gonna be fighting anytime soon anyway. You need to ult early. Luckily I think you do live just barely.
Barely.
Yeah. And then this guy actually like destroys his ass. But Teemo's too low conditions, he's down 2 levels. So I'm skipping this Herald and I'm playing for bots right now. So okay, let's this. Nice dodges. But pretty much fog of war. You clear this ward. They know that you're walking through here. There's no wave to play for, but there's a
Just
wave here.
walk bot.
So what I would do is I would do these these raptors, and then
Mhm.
come if I'm because what would have happened is if you did these and you path, you kited upwards, you would have been able to maybe you don't have so much charge, but you would have been able to like one shot this, and then still make it to this wave.
Mhm.
But the point is you want to be on this wave. You don't want to clear vision first. You want to clear the wave and then clear vision. So this is out of order. Right? You want to wait here after you click this ward because of what you did, and then clear this wave, even with your team, that's fine. And then go to clear the wards.
Mhm.
Okay, they're teaming in. Really sad.
Tragedy.
Actually, you ended this game 10 kills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at some point they obviously made a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
Is what happens. So like that's my point. Like this game, you would have been probably like 150 CS, more kills if you played the game slower, but that's how
Mhm.
you didn't. It's fine. You would have been at least 150 CS, almost 2 items. One like 150 CS or 60 more CS to this is let me do some math real quick. So I want to show you how much gold that is actually. That's 15 camps. 15 camps divided by 100, because every camp is worth about 100 gold. It's about 1500 gold. So you would have almost had like a full completed second item if you just like kept clearing your camps and relaxing. Um,
Right.
and then when you got all those kills later on in the game, you would have like smurfed the game even harder with even more gold. Um,
Mhm.
but pretty much, it's hard to look at the rest of this game. Um, do you want to see like when you got fed, like if you could have played the team fights better, if you could have played, um,
No, I think this was mostly an early game blunder. Like
right,
I just made too many mistakes.
right,
Bad decision making, like I said.
right.
But now I know to focus on waves, play a bit more patient for the ganks, and sometimes you just don't force opportunities, wait for the enemies to make mistakes.
Perfect.
That's what
So
I've
I want to
learned
actually
from
recap with you right there. So you just have some notes to go forward. So playoff waves, you said, and then you said What
Be
else
more
did you add there,
patient
Fun?
during
Sorry.
ganks.
Yeah, be patient.
But that goes along with the waves.
Right.
And then don't force opportunities.
Right. Don't force opportunities; they will come to you.
Just chill, farm if there are no opportunities present,
Right. Okay. And then there's one thing.
and
There's
play
one.
for objectives.
There you
Always
go.
play for
The
objectives.
biggest thing I want you to take away from is your decision making that you struggled with when you came into the session, that you struggle with. The biggest thing that'll change is if you focus on objectives, it makes decision making easier. If you focus
Hmm.
on waves, it'll make decision making easier. Because jungling is hard. You need to understand that jungling is hard. You have four teammates that will ping you, beg you, flame you, do all of the above. They're crazy, right?
Yeah.
And there's different champions every time, different summoner spells, different lane matchups. The only thing that stays the same is objectives and waves. Unless you have a duo, then hopefully he stays the same. But the point is, like, there's so much going on. I don't expect anyone in any elo, even all the way up to Grandmaster, even up all the way to Challenger, to be able to like change the way they make their decisions. You need to have some easy indication on what you should be thinking about. And folk playing on objectives, it's so annoying to say because I used to hate clearing objectives. I used to hate doing dragons, but it just makes your gameplay so much cleaner. And again,
Hmm.
what I want to say is I feel like you've played the early game, the whole sequences. You're in the right positions most for the most part. You're on the right track for all these things. It's just the next games I'm not right for. Um, you need to keep in mind a fog. Do not show if you do not show whatever you do. Do not show unless you're getting something.
Hmm.
You need to make sure that you keep in mind your camp respawns. If you think about a single rule in jungle, the most basic rule is just be on your camp the moment it respawns.
Hmm.
That'll give you a sense of whether you're up or down tempo. It's hard to understand, whose turn it is, whose turn it is. So just keep in mind whoever's not on their camp the moment it spawns is probably down tempo. So you always want to keep your tempo up.
Hmm.
And lastly, keep in mind every single laner is trying to think about waves, or is playing for waves pretty much.
Hmm.
So if you change the way you gank, the way you interact with laners, the way you interact with your laners, enemy laners, if you change the way you think that way, you just focus on the waves because that's what they're focused on. You're going to match with what they're doing, and the decision making will come a lot more fluidly.
Hmm.
And on top of that, you have, for the most part, in this game, you could have died a lot of times. You could have made a lot more worse mistakes. I'm glad you're not making the most horrid mistakes. But if you add that on top of your decent, structure for now, I'm sure you're going to, find a lot more success.
Hmm.
Cool. Those are the main things we talked about. Um, to touch upon to touch upon mid game, we have a little bit more time as well. What I want to emphasize is what we did a second ago, right? So we looked at every single lane. And has anything changed? Who you want to play towards?
Um, Probably still York,
hmm
maybe bot lane.
So both of these lanes are like decent to play with, but again, the champions they're playing with mine, they don't really synergize too well. Yurik is actually okay, probably. I would say like decent, but realistically, like if I had an Nautilus or something, it would be a lot simpler. If I had like an Irelia, like any melee champ, like that has some sort of CC, some sort of like survivability, makes things a lot simpler.
Yeah,
But pretty much whenever I'm in the mid game, that's what I'm focused on. So let's go to this dragon
you're
real
playing
quick.
around your strong teammates.
Yes, just play around your strong teammates, especially in the mid game. I emphasize it in the early game, but especially in the mid game.
Should
So
I
let's
give up on people who are inting? Just like
yes, that is.
don't pay
Let
attention
let
to
me
them
let me pull up.
whatsoever.
Let me bless you with my basic rules real quick. Pretty much most important league rules right now. Play for objectives we talked about. Keep your conditions high, resources high, HP mana. So don't walk into free abilities, especially for team fights. Never chase for kills, and never ever help your inting teammates. Okay, so what I mean by
Okay.
this goes hand in hand with objectives. If there's an objective up or there's 2 kills for you to get, do the fucking objective. Never help your teammates. Always play with your strong teammates. And then this is pretty basic stuff. We've been talking about tempo the whole time. And never go for one for ones. This is something we didn't see in this game, but for example, if there's a mid dive and you get the enemy mid laner really low, but you don't kill him, you want to try to keep your conditions high and just don't kill yourself for it. It's not worth it.
Hmm.
By you getting the enemy laner that low, you've effectively killed them, right? Because
Hmm.
they have to recall, and when they recall, they're out of base, they're dead for 20 seconds. So you've effectively killed someone whenever you get their conditions super low. But
Even if the laner's gonna miss like a fat fucking wave, like say it's like a slow push,
uh-huh.
they get really low and I trade 1-for-1. Even if they lose like a fat wave and I kill them, it's not
Well,
worth.
well, think about it. So let's say let me draw this for you. Let's say that the enemy has, we're looking at top lane. So it's the easiest thing. Let's say you're blue side again, right? And you're right
Hmm.
here, and the enemy jungler is like, doing dragon or something. If you know went to dive him, right? And
Hmm.
he walked this way, he's really low. Maybe he's like here, you're really low, and you have to just leave because you'll die. He has to leave now, right?
Hmm.
If he stays here and you go and kill him, right? It's for the most part, it's okay if yes, they're losing like 2 or 3 waves, it's okay, but have your laner kill himself for it. You don't want to kill yourself for it. You
Hmm.
want to recall, kill this camp, get back to map, get back into the map, clear this whole top side, trade the map if he's doing dragon. You have things to do. Your laner,
Hmm.
like you said, he's gonna win like 2 waves. He should have no problem diving and killing himself for it. You shouldn't want to kill yourself for it. What you want
Okay.
to do is get this guy to half HP, less than half HP, to where he has to walk all the way back to his turret, and he's still losing the wave, right? Because he's not collecting the XP or
Hmm.
the gold. So that's how I would look at plays like that. And the last thing is, let's say we have an objective like this. Yorick is recalling. Yorick is the one we want to play for. If Yorick does not come to this dragon, let's say he says, "I'm not going to dragon. I'm going to play for this top turret." I
Uh-huh.
would not fight this dragon. Okay, even though it's third dragon, it sucks. You're not winning this fight without this guy.
Yeah.
I would ping him. I would beg him to come. If he does not want to come, you respect the fact that he doesn't want to come, and you go trade his entire top side. That's all you can do. Again, it's all about like dealing with what's actually going on, and if this guy doesn't want to help you, he doesn't. I'm sure he
Hmm.
probably comes. Oh, these guys are dead anyway, so it's not the greatest example. Um, but I think
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah. So let's look at this turret for example. So you guys killed another guy because especially because Yorick's here right now. I'm gonna be here. Like I want to be here even more so because Yorick's here. At this point, you're really strong. So this is the next thing. You're really strong and no one else is really strong. So who's the best person for you to play with? Who do you feel like as Graves? Who do you want to play with?
York.
Yeah, I mean, Yorick is probably the one who sets you up one of the best. Sivir and Syndra aren't the worst, because Sivir can ult you, and then Syndra, like, maybe lands a stun. But most consistent is Yorick. So, yes,
Right.
every single fight you want to be with Yorick. So, for example, something like this. I guess LeBlanc went in, so you're turning around and you're looking at this. But realistically, like, let's say Yorick's, like, committed to breaking the stop turret. I'm not doing this. I'm leaving.
Hmm.
Like I'll try to keep him alive, but but like all my clicks are going backwards. This is where my
Right.
cursor is, not forward.
And why is that? Can you repeat that?
So pretty much it's just you don't want to make plays away from your Yorick, right?
Okay.
Every
Okay.
single play you make, it shouldn't be a play. It should be defending. Let's either defend the Sivir because he wants to recall like an ape. I don't mind you
Hmm.
defending this guy, but that means you can't get yourself killed. So let me show you when I start feeling concerned for your safety. You know when you start doing at this point. This Sivir is clicking backwards. I would click backwards with Sivir, but you're going
Hmm.
forward. Look at this. Look at how distinct that is. You're playing for
Yeah.
a fight here.
Gotcha.
This whole time you're playing for this. This Yorick. Now he's here, so now it's not that bad. But the idea is like this guy still wants to recall. So you're actually baiting your Sivir because this guy's wanting
Into
to recall
fighting.
the whole time. Because you're clicking like this, he's like
Yeah. Yeah.
staying.
I get it.
Cool. And that's another thing about mid game. Something we can really quickly talk about is like ping your teammates and make your body posture very clear to your teammates. If you danger ping your teammates, click away and walk the fuck away and they will join you. If you
Hmm.
ping on the way and you walk forward, they will join you.
Yeah, we're gonna bait them.
Yeah, you could bait them as well if it's bad, right? So no matter what, you just need to make sure that you're very clear with your pings and your movements, even if you're not pinging. Let's say you just don't want to ping, that's fine. Make sure you're clear with your movement, like this scenario right here. It's a perfect example. Cool. That's the basics of mid game. Another thing about mid game, do not die as a jungler when the Baron is up. It's that simple.
Hmm.
And if you are killing their jungler or killing one of their teammates, if anyone dies in a game state like this, in the jungle right here, you can start Baron. What happens is if it's a 4v5, let's say Viego's dead, You do not
Yeah.
play to finish the Baron ever. If they can fight you, you play to fight them up a number.
Yeah. Numbers advantage.
It's numbers advantage, right? It's a very simple rule. Unless the Baron is like 5k and you kill the Viego here somehow, and you can like bring it down and like, maybe like one or two people live, like maybe it's worth it. But pretty much make your best judgments. But every time you kill someone in the mid game, the common theme I've seen is people don't do the Baron because they're afraid it's not going to go well. Use the Baron as a tool to bring the enemy to fight you guys and just be in a better position.
Would it be worth to get a kill, start pathing toward Baron, and waiting in a bush?
As long as you have a pink here and you've confirmed that they don't know where you are, yes. And as long as this ward is swept, yes. But it's better to bring them all the way over here, right? It's better to sit in this bush versus this bush, for example.
Hmm.
Because these bushes like up here are easier to check. These positions up
Yeah.
here are easier to be defensive. The moment they cross this line right here, this line right here, either of these, they're in a really tough situation. Cool.
But so more often than not, I should actually start the Baron
Yeah, and just use it as a
compared
tool to
to sitting
pull
in a
them to
bush.
fight us. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, because if you're sitting here, your whole team's gonna sit with you. If you're sitting here, or if you spam ping your teammates to hold here and you're pulling it, like most champs won't lose too much HP from Baron. But if you're worried about that, then yeah, just sit here with your team. The problem is the enemy team can have blues, right? So you want to have a pink here and you want to make sure that they don't know.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
all. But cool. That's like the basic things advice I can give you about mid game. But your early
Mhm.
game is really what you want to focus on. That's truly jungling. The rest are just tips I provided to help you climb. And I'll write them out real quick. But those are just tips to help you climb.
Is it possible for me to get access to that doc, your
Yeah,
Bible?
I'm gonna finalize my doc. I'm gonna make it detailed as possible. I'll
Okay,
just
so it's
briefly
in the
show
work
you. Like
in
I
process.
wrote a bunch of questions. If you have any of these questions, write some more. Um, if you have time, like where to stand number one, where to board. I'm writing all these, and I'm gonna write. I'm gonna pretty much make a dictionary of. You have a question about jungle, you have a question about whatever. I'll have the answers for you. In my
Right, right.
my opinion. But yeah, I'll have this publicized eventually. Might take a
Okay.
bit, but yeah, cool. Um,